Could you maybe bring us along? How did you decide to build REVYND? Was there a gap maybe in the market? Anything that you saw, hey, there's a need for that?
We thought, therefore, okay, how can we bring longevity to the here and now and make it practical and understandable for everyone? And we tied this, therefore, not only to supplements, but also to a guiding experience and rituals. That's why we call it renewal and longevity rituals, because it should be something that you do on a daily basis because you believe in it and you want to do it.
From your view, is there something in the longevity wellness world, any trend right now that you feel like is really overrated from your view, and maybe something that is underrated? What's your view and you guys at REVYND? What's sort of your bold thesis here?
Then you have this trend with tracking, Aura Ring or any other wearables or gadgets. And I tried it myself, and we also have some Aura Rings here in the space. You can actually test them, or we use them for a 30-day test. And I think in general, it's a good tool to understand and learn about your body and habits. But in my opinion, only for a limited time. So I don't believe too much in long-term tracking and daily tracking. I would compare it if you step on a scale on a daily basis and hope you lose weight or something is very different, it's unhealthy. So yeah, I think the obsession with tracking is something, in my view, that is a bit overrated, and it should be more balanced, that you develop a good intuition, what's good for you.
Welcome to Be Well. Today, I'm joined by Julian Hallet, co-founder of REVYND, a Munich-based wellness venture combining a ritual studio space with health products built around renewal and longevity. Julian is a serial entrepreneur. He's previously built Happy Ocean Foods, a plant-based seafood brand, and also ran a podcast called Healthy Hustlers back in the days. Julian, great to have you on Be Well today on this show. And maybe before talking more about REVYND, I'd be pleased if you could share a couple of words about your personal background to the audience and introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Julian Hallet, actually. And I'm 36 years old. I live here in Munich with my small family. I recently became a dad, actually. And as you said, I'm started a couple of companies already, and currently I'm fully focused on REVYND.
Amazing. Could you share some words about your background and upbringing and sort of the start into your entrepreneurial journey? Just feel free to start how you got into entrepreneurship at first, where you're from. That would be amazing.
Yeah. I grew up in Hesse, near Frankfurt. And I went there to school, but for studies, I moved to Düsseldorf for international management studies. And at this point in time, I was not sure at all what I wanted to do in life and after studies. And I tried a lot of working student jobs, internships. And it led me finally to the conclusion that I want to start my career in health and fitness, basically. I was a bit more fitness focused, I would say, during this time. Not so much on the health side. It was always interesting to me, but more on the fitness side. And I found this startup called Vitafy. By now, I think it's one of the largest shops in Europe for health and nutrition supplements. And they also, bought a lot of other brands recently and grew by the strategy of buy and build. But at this time, when I started, I think there were 12 employees, and it was an amazing time, really good startup spirit, high pressure, high performance, but also a lot of good people to work with high energy, good mood. And it was just, for me, the perfect starting point of my career there, because I could work closely with the founders and look into a lot of different areas from sales, marketing, product. And it taught me so much about the startup life, how to grow from a small team or small company to a big one. When I left, we were 120 people. It was a really interesting journey. And also my conclusion after this time, almost 3 years, was that I want to start my own company at some point, and it led me to the podcast you mentioned before. So this business that I started afterwards was actually focused a bit more around health, because over time I found this more interesting than just fitness. And it was a consultancy for new work and corporate health. So we were more focused on the B2B side and help to implement strategies for companies that care about the benefits and the health of the employees, but also want to increase their productivity and use like new tools, new software, new strategies. And this came together with a podcast to increase the awareness. And we were also active, me and my business partner, a bit in the on the product side already in the B2C, even though we were focused on B2B, doing the podcast, selling a journal on Amazon and online, stuff like that. So like the first baby steps, how to grow a business, test different strategies, products. And yeah, it was a great time to start, and it led me to travel around the world for 1 year. And this brought me to my last station you mentioned as well, Happy Ocean Foods, which I worked for the past 6 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could you briefly share with us sort of what the business was at Happy Oceans, and what brought you then later on to your current venture? Sort of what was that transition like, sort of?
Yeah. So when I traveled the world, I was working remotely because the job allowed it, or the startup allowed it. But at one point, I decided that I only wanted to travel and think about the next step, because it was more like a agency or service provider business, and I wanted to find something that is not as much attached to my persona and more on the product side, but also think about in general what could be a new area of interest. And I had a lot of experiences that shaped the idea. For example, I did my advanced open diver during this trip and learned a lot about the ocean, basically problems of the ocean as well, because I had a very passionate diving teacher. And on the other hand, I was still traveling in other areas that were more business focused, like Silicon Valley. And San Francisco was, for me, really the starting point of the whole idea of Happy Ocean Foods, because the alternative protein trend was much more advanced there during this time than in Europe. I saw I talked to people from Beyond Meat, for example, and the whole alternative meat sector was growing already. And I was very much fascinated with the R&D side, because I was amazed what you can do already with food tech, or at least it looked like. I think today it's even much more interesting, but during this time already, it was nothing compared to Germany, where we had some bean burgers or something. Yeah. But I thought, okay, everyone is doing something about meat, and what about the oceans? Yeah, because I had more this relation to the ocean. I was surfing a lot during this time, and it became clear to me that there was an opportunity and also a solution needed for the overfishing. So I came up with this idea that there must be seafood alternatives. And there was already one startup called Good Catch. They did tuna, and I found this very interesting, but I don't know, it was not such a fascinating product for me, because what I associated with it was it's served in a can, and it doesn't look like the original product in all, and you don't have a relationship. And on the other hand, from the problem side, there are a lot of course, it's a big problem, with the dragging nets, overfishing in general. There was also nothing tackling the shellfish space, and I was more interested in aqua farming, etc. And so we developed a shrimp alternative, the first shrimp alternative in Germany, Europe. I think even in Europe we were we were the first ones to develop a shrimp alternative. I think it was like the perfect timing. We instantly found some investors after we showed the first prototype and received the first grant for this project, and hit it off really fast. Also with Höhle der Löwen TV format here in Germany, which is quite popular and was even, I think, more popular during this time. And it allowed us to launch the product quite fast, scale quite fast, and bring it to the retail, bring it into different restaurants, sell it online even. We shipped really frozen shrimps by mail in the early days by ourselves. We were actually packing it by ourselves, and then afterwards by a fulfillment provider. And yeah, it was an amazing journey. It was definitely a challenging one. Maybe for the listeners who observed the market over time, there were a lot of up and downs, and also by the stock of Oatly, Beyond Meat, etc. You can see what happened there. That it was a hype definitely in the beginning, and not too many people were in it for the long run or understanding how much it takes to really integrate it into the food system. This was also something we realized too late, how great the barriers are in this field. And that you get a lot of good signals from customers first because they're excited about the new product and the numbers look really good and right, and the retention, but you cannot project it into the future. So we were growing in the first 3 years, and then saw some stagnation. And yeah, we worked against it, of course, and we launched new products, also tuna, salmon, even a non-fish alternative, just a protein alternative. We focused more on the gastronomy. We tried a lot on the R&D side as well, offer services there. So we increased our capacities for R&D and production to offer even white label products or customized product development. But yeah, we saw that it's definitely very hard to scale this business to the vision we had originally, to like everyone is eating plant-based shrimps in Germany on a weekly basis. So yeah, in the end, I would say it was a very interesting and overall successful journey, but not one for the long run for me and my co-founder, because of so many like challenges and adoption challenges in particular, that we thought, okay, what can be the next step we want to do in life and in business? And that led us to REVYND.
Amazing. Great. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, we already talked earlier, and I got aware that you've had tons of entrepreneurial experience already before, which is quite interesting. And now with this venture, sort of by now you're really pretty much sort of a serial entrepreneur, one could say. Maybe Julian, now good that you transitioned over to REVYND, and maybe bring us back to the beginning. I think it's a very early venture, right? You guys just started off. Could you maybe bring us along? How did you decide to build REVYND? Was there a gap maybe in the market? Anything that you saw, hey, there's a need for that? Maybe bring us along how it got started, and maybe what the version is currently of REVYND is.
Sure. So interestingly, Robin is still my co-founder, and we met at REVYND, at Weidefy, sorry. So we knew each other for quite a while before we even started our first business, and now we're starting the second business. This is also, I would say, the dynamic how we grow ideas, or to challenge each other, to think about the status quo and new ideas. And for me, the starting point of REVYND was that I noticed that there's a growing trend for longevity, but it's at least on the nutrition side and supplement side, not something for people that they can really grab or relate to, because it's so much in the future that you think, okay, I take this supplement for the next 20 years, and what difference do I feel? And does it really make a difference in the end? Or is it that I do something for 10 years, 20 years, and I see no difference? So I think it's quite hard. In general, it's not only for longevity, but we as a species, we don't work like that. We cannot, I think that long term easily. We care more about the short term benefits and also maybe the more practical benefits. And we thought, therefore, okay, how can we bring longevity to the here and now and make it practical and understandable for everyone? And we tied this, therefore, not only to supplements, but also to a guiding experience and rituals. That's why we call it renewal and longevity rituals, because it should be something that you do on a daily basis because you believe in it and you want to do it. And it's also something you enjoy and not a pill you swallow or even a powder you mix into a bottle. I think that's quite common. You have a lot of longevity formulas. I mean, it's nice if it tastes good. Maybe you enjoy drinking this bottle. AG1 is quite popular, so I think it can work. But the standards in e-commerce, I would say nowadays, they're quite high. And you also have this challenge of retention. And I think you need or at least our idea is to have a really good system behind it to assure this retention, but also the value for the customer. And therefore, we said, okay, how can we bring it into everyone's home and integrate it really into the day, not only with a small ritual, but also with a long-lasting, bigger ritual. And I think morning routines are quite popular. Not everyone is doing them, but maybe because some people think you need to invest 1 hour or something. So we said, okay, let's make it easy and combine it with the supplement in a form you can do with only 10 minutes a day. You feel good afterwards, you have an instant effect, and you also have a ritual that you do it together, with your morning routine. In our case, it's a guided routine. So we have I would say, guidance, digital guidance system. At this point, I don't want to disclose if it's an app or like a digital guide or whatsoever, because we have some plans how we scale this and bring it to the customers. And we already have versions, but you only get them basically as a customer. So if you join the program or the supplement, so to say, you get the guidance. So yeah, it's already scalable, but I think there's much more potential. And at the end of the guidance, you prepare your beverage, like your favorite beverage, and then you can take our supplement, which is a creatine focused longevity stick with 5 ingredients. The 4 ingredients support how creatine works. And it's neutral in taste. You can put it into every beverage. It's very convenient because it's in a stick. You don't need to scoop it out of something. And it comes with a jar, but not like a plastic jar or something. It's a marble jar, a really high quality marble jar that is highly aesthetic, I would say. You could take it for anything else, or you would like to have it in your living room because it just looks good. And there you can store your sticks to make it a pleasant ritual to take the stick out of your beautiful jar into your drink after your routine. And we've done this with a cohort already of test customers, and the feedback was really good. They loved it. And myself, I also do it for 10 years, I would say, not in this exact way. So I started with a short morning yoga routine, and I took some creatine just in my morning water. And now how we do it, I think it's much more like lifestyle and very, very different to the original version. But since we stick with it for such a long time, I think it can work for a lot of people and really help them and feel the effect. Yeah.
Amazing. I would love to follow up on the products that you offer later as well. I think it's a very interesting combination that you have a physical, real studio space in Munich, but also have sort of products and protocols that you want to scale, but maybe let's start off also with the studio itself, the experience, right? If you have also different class formats that you're offering, how would I experience it if I was to go visit you guys, let's say next week? How would it get started? How would I experience REVYND Studio in simple words? And what would I expect in terms of classes?
Yeah. So REVYND is a holistic brand. I described this before, but it's not only that you do the holistic health approach with movement and supplementation, but also you can come here to the REVYND studio and experience it. For us, it's not only a studio, it's also a place for community. It's kind of a showroom because you can actually test and experience the products here. And therefore, it was very important for us that we have a place where you can come and experience the brand at REVYND Studio. And we offer not only a certain class like yoga, but different experience that all help you to calm down, that are good for your nervous system. So when you come here to REVYND, I think it's not a very anonymous place. So a lot of people they come here regularly, and I think it's for some people it's already a place where you can meet others that you only know through sports or the community. And what you would find is definitely always a calming atmosphere. So it's not a place where we offer any strength classes or Pilates or something. We offer a sound bath. We offer also breath work, different kinds of breath work, even free dance. There's even a class that combines free dance with breath work. So you do the breath work first after you do some free dance, and that's for release. So basically, when you experience that, you would feel, I think, a lot lighter afterwards. Also, different yoga classes in terms of recovery and stretching. I think it's a very good tool, actually. Underestimated, even if you do a lot of sports, for recovery, because you do a lot of different stretchings, flexibility. So you focus on your breath a lot, which is also a tool not only for the nervous system but for performance, or to how you can regulate yourself. This is also something we value a lot. That we work with breath here in different classes, because we think it can help, or it's proven, that it can help you. But only breath work for some people is a little bit still maybe too spiritual, or at least we have the perception that a lot of people can still not relate with it. So we offer classes that are more traditional, and others that are like the freelance one are a bit more different. So you have a whole spectrum of classes, but basically all of them are built that you have really a class or a place where you can come if everything else is too much and you want to calm down and relax, unwind.
Mm, mm. What is free dance, if I may ask?
the free, so there are different kinds of free dance. How we do it here, you get headphones, and you, after the breathwork, the headphones are there to guide you through the breathwork, and then you get the sound through the breathwork. It can be a DJ set or something, and you move freely and you get some instructions. So it starts very slow with the movements, and you're guided through your body by the teacher. And then you reach a climax after 10 minutes or so, where you should like dance fully energetic, let free, and just do whatever you want, basically, by dancing. And then again, you calm down and you close with the breath. And this is also something people do by day partying nowadays. I think in Spain, it's already quite popular. They rent out clubs where you have sober parties, but also free dance parties with headphones or without. And it's for people who would like to dance without drinking alcohol, or doing it in the evening at night. So we have it on a Friday evening, but it finishes at 8, I think. So you have definitely a good sleep afterwards. Yeah.
Amazing. I'll be wondering, who are you specifically targeting with REVYND? What kind of people are part of your community as of right now? Who do you want to be part of your community? Maybe everyone, right? Eventually, but who are you targeting specifically right now?
Yeah. We have definitely a focus for people in general over 30, because the natural recovery declines after 30, as most people, I think, experience and notice naturally. I think at 40 it's even more critical, but it helps if you prepare and get into this mindset and practice at 30. So I think for those people it's much easier to understand our offer or why they would need it, because they really feel it. Maybe they wake up after 7 hours and still don't feel rested, or they need their coffee in the afternoon, even they slept well or felt that they slept well, and they come from a hiking trip and they still feel it on the next day. All of these are signs that your recovery is not as good as in your 20s anymore. And then with the formula in particular, it's a bit more focused for women, because they profit more from this specific formula, which is focused on creatine, because their natural capacity they have for creatine is lower than for men. I think 20% less. They naturally eat less meat, and you only get creatine by fish and meat. So I think it's fair to say that they can benefit more from it than men. So I think it makes a bit more sense. A lot of men they use it for weightlifting or in strength, but there are definitely more benefits than only strength training. So I think it's much more popular for men. So you have the biggest leverage or the bigger leverage for women nowadays.
Mm. Julian, maybe a question more with regard to the industry. I mean, I think in Munich, there's a lot of people now coming up in the longevity wellness space, tons of studios. Both my brothers are living in Munich, so I'm I'm following it a little bit at least. And from my view, I mean, there's a lot of noise around, let's say, longevity. You have biohacking, you have self-optimization guys, people are tracking their health data. Where do you see maybe REVYND fit in that entire landscape of different words that are flying around, to best convey to whoever you want to target what you guys do? You guys, I think on your website, you say longevity and what is it? Rituals, I think?
Yeah.
What words do you feel most comfortable with in this, let's say, fragmented wellness and health world with tons of words flying around?
Yeah. Our keywords are recovery and renewal, because longevity is something that is quite popular, and we wanted to use it, to be honest, because you can instantly understand what the offering is about. If you read longevity, you think, oh, okay, it must be something with healthy aging, so it helps a lot with this. But other than that, we wouldn't say we are like a pure longevity brand. So our focus is definitely more on the day-to-day recovery and the day-to-day renewal, and the instant effects. So of course we formulate our products and classes for the long term, but also we are very short-term focused because of the instant effects you should have and feel to stick with it. And therefore, I would say those are our most important terms we work with, and also the rituals, because we believe in modern rituals and want to connect, I would say, ancient rituals that are nowadays a bit more on the spiritual side, more to the modern side. So in our view, there are a lot of things like breath work or yoga that are still perceived as spiritual by maybe a majority of the population, maybe male population more, and we think it can get a different touch, or you can I would say we don't have the mission to rebrand it or something. But when you think about Rewind, you should think about something that is backed by science and it works. But it can also be something that has a spiritual touch, but it's not purely spiritual, because yoga has the benefits. There's no like you cannot discuss that. There are a lot of benefits to yoga, but still, some people say I don't do it because I don't know. It's not for me. It's for a woman, or it's spiritual or whatsoever. And we want to change that a bit here. We believe everyone can benefit from those rituals, to do them on a daily basis. Yeah.
It's interesting because I saw someone talking about the fact that 100+ years ago, everyone was stinking, right? I mean, people were just nasty. Like, people were not brushing their teeth. It just didn't exist, right? And showering that well, or using, cleaning themselves.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's just normal, right? You just walk around and people, I mean, they smell in a decent way, most of them, right? It's just socially something you do. And I think this guy was referring, maybe in 100 years, they will look back and feel like, hey, why was no one, sort of getting, working on their mind, sort of cleaning their mind, because we're like all in our
100%.
words, in our heads and all these things. And it's maybe in the future that, maybe that's normal or regular, right? To work on your operating system, your body, sort of.
Yeah. It may take some time, but my hypothesis is that due to AI, you will may have more time in the future to focus on such things. And maybe due to the screen time and everything, you would even need it more, the time for yourself, the time for recovery, or the time without any devices. And maybe because you're working less, I mean, this is, of course, we have a way to go until then, but you think more about such things like your purpose, and more about recovery, or what you can do for yourself. And those are things that a luxury at the moment, but maybe they become more normal over time, or at least I feel this way, that it's something that has a lot of potential. And looking back, I think you will definitely say, okay, why didn't we do it earlier? Or what was wrong with us that we were so focused on only performance? Yeah. So this is actually also something that we believe in, that the society is too much performance focused, and to perform you need to recover, and therefore it can only help you. I mean, I think a lot of people, they get it wrong. They think, okay, you relax and you do nothing, and then you want to have more performance or more productivity. That's true to a certain extent. I mean, of course, if I work remotely from Bali and then half a day I go surfing, that's definitely not too productive. But if I, after a long working day, go to yoga class, it will definitely help me to recover from this day and give me maybe a better start into next productive day.
Maybe one more question about, let's say, broader health and wellness, longevity trends that you're seeing. We just talked about the importance of recovery and sort of, utilizing things like yoga, meditation, breathwork, totally underutilized. What do you think, maybe from your view, is there something in the longevity wellness world, any trend right now that you feel like is really overrated from your view, and maybe something that is underrated? What's your view, and you guys at REVYND, what's sort of your bold thesis here?
I mean, I described it a bit already, what we believe in. And that brings me also to the opposite, or what is one thing maybe that is, in my view, a bit too much. As you may notice, we believe a bit more into the intuition, what is good for you, and what is also like logical good for you. And you listen, like, did you have a good night, and how much recovery do you need? And then you have this trend with tracking, Aura Ring or any other wearables or gadgets. And I tried it myself, and we also have some Aura Rings here in the space. You can actually test them, or we use them for a 30-day test. And I think in general it's a good tool. to understand and learn about your body and habits. But in my opinion, only for a limited time. So I don't believe too much in long-term tracking and daily tracking. I would compare it if you step on a scale on a daily basis and hope you lose weight or something is very different, it's unhealthy. So yeah, I think the obsession with tracking is something, in my view, that is a bit overrated, and it should be more balanced. That you develop a good intuition, what's good for you, and you understand yourself and your body. And on the other hand, you have some metrics to track it, but not too many and too often.
Mhm. Amazing. Now, Julian, I mean, you mentioned earlier that you guys have an important product dimension in your business. Could you maybe share with us anything else that you haven't mentioned, which is important to understand about REVYND when it comes to your health and supplements protocols that people can get? I think it's quite unique in the sense that you guys have an in-person studio. You said it's more of a showroom, right? What does one need to know about, your product component with regards to your business?
Yeah. You mean the formula and specifically, or how we develop the products?
Just generally speaking, more about the offering and what else someone should know from your view. Anything else you feel like is worth sharing about the products that you guys are selling?
Yeah. So at the moment, while we're recording this, we are preparing our first limited pre-sale. So you will have the opportunity to get one of 100 handmade marble jars, and the actual product, the renewal ritual stick. So it's a creatine complex. Um, and also the guidance. We will launch that quite soon. Probably when this is published, you can find it, but only for a limited time and a limited amount. And after this launch, we will open the shop for like regular product purchases, and we focus very much in the beginning on the single product because we think it's a very good complex or combination that we offer here. The creatine comes with taurine, with glycine, and magnesium, and also citicoline. And those are all ingredients that work well together with creatine and also have a focus more on the cognitive side and the cell side, not only on the sport side of creatine or health or healthy aging in general. And we will continue with rituals for your daily life, basically. So whatever makes sense, for example, a better sleep routine, we're working on, but also some flavors or more enjoyable products, I would say, that are not only tasteless and good in the formulation, but also can work more like a lifestyle drink. But the core is definitely to work with rituals, and the vision of the company, therefore, is definitely to create more like a rituals company and not a supplement company. And I believe it will be totally normal in the upcoming years to purchase also some supplement routines or rituals as a gift that's like beautifully crafted, that you put into your home, in your bedroom or your living room. And this is also something, of course, that comes or that works well with the studio, because you have the experience there, you have the showroom there, you can experience this, you can pick up products or try products, and this is basically what we're working on for the future experience and future products. Yeah.
Mhm. Do you guys see yourself primarily as a supplement or product company, or rather a let's say in real life physical space company? It's probably the first one, right?
That's a good question, actually. Um, to be honest, I was in the beginning very much in love with the concept of having stores and spaces. Um, but yeah, thinking through this business model, I came to the conclusion, of course, that it's easier to start with a product you can scale online and with one location. Test your thesis, and then you can maybe open other locations over time that have benefits for your community on the product, but that are not your core business. And the focus is rather than on the e-commerce and online. But it was not always as clear. Actually, also before Rewind, I was thinking more about a studio for contrast therapy as well, so hot and cold, sauna and cold plunge, because this is also very good for recovery. Yeah, and nowadays you go maybe to the gym, or you need to drive 30 minutes out of the city to go to go to a wellness center or something, and this is also something I think that will change. That you have like micro locations for contrast therapy, and at this point I could also see Rewind as a recovery brand that is focusing on this because it's entirely new. I mean, of course, contrast therapy is not entirely new as a concept, but as a business micro location concept. And I'm still in love with this idea, but at this point we focus on the recovery movement part, and maybe in the future this is also something we can integrate into the studios.
I had a guest previously on the podcast, and she mentioned that she's building sort of the gym for mental health through, those recovery experiences through contrast therapy. So yeah, who knows? Maybe that might be one day in a day where sort of the lifestyle of doing yoga and meditation and breath work is smoothly integrated in our day-to-day lives. Maybe that's something that is at every corner. Who knows? But will take some time, probably. Julian, I'll be wondering, it's already coming closely to an end. Maybe you already alluded to where you guys want to be in sort of the next, or in the time to come. Where do you see REVYND maybe in 3 to 5 years looking ahead? Is there something you can share, a bigger picture that you're working toward, because you see REVYND, the brand, as a really holistic health brand? Where could this go?
Yeah. So in 3 years, since we don't want to grow too fast, I would say. It's a luxury to grow fast, but it also comes, of course, with a lot of pressure, raising money again, and maybe the customer retention or the quality you deliver can also be critical. So we think more about a qualitative approach, learning more about the customers and the product feedback, etc., and focus very much on one really good product and experience offline and online. So learn about more what or how is the product and ritual integrated into people's home. What feedback do they have? What should we add? Or maybe what else do they want in the future that we haven't thought about it yet? And the same on the space. What classes do we need to introduce? Is there maybe something that we cannot offer in this space, but would make totally sense, and we need to open a second location and have a different offering than we have at the moment here. Also, not only on the class side, but also like on the product experience side. So we have plans, definitely, how we scale, how we grow, and also goals for this. But I would not, think too far ahead. This is definitely something I'd learned in the past. We had a 3-year financial plan, 5-year financial plan. We had all kinds of plans, presentations, whatsoever, product pipelines for years. And it was at best a 12-month roadmap we could follow. And then we learned something, or something else happened, that turned everything around. And especially nowadays, everything is moving much more faster with AI. We're also ourselves, we're implementing AI quite heavily here for marketing, and also for any image or video creation and advertising. And I think a lot can happen in the next 12 months or 24 months. So I would more say we have a really good starting point, and we need to learn more about the customers, validate more, and focus a lot on really the experience, the product experience, the studio experience, and not launch like too many new offerings, because this is something I don't believe in too much. If it's more like a complicated vision you have, and not like only reselling simple products. If you really want to change something and offer a premium experience, premium quality, then you can focus on one product for a long time and one concept before you need to broaden the offer.
Amazing. Julian, one question I like asking is to my guest, what is a misconception people often have, either maybe about what you're building or about the longevity, recovery, wellness space that you're operating in?
That's a good question. I mean, for us, it's definitely that you need to explain to people that, some of the rituals we offer, they are quite helpful or supportive for longevity, and not only spiritual, and that you can connect longevity to rituals, and not only think of it as something that is like medical or preventative in a functional way, but also something that you can do with knowledge that everyone, I would say, understands, that is research backed, but it's not too scientific. I have sometimes the understanding that people are hesitant about some of those longevity offerings, especially like the longevity clinics, where you have a pressure chamber and red light therapy, etc. And it's for the majority of them not really something maybe they want to invest in, or they understand, and they would go to on a weekly basis. And I feel this is not made like for a really representative amount of people who really want to live healthy and change something in their everyday life. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like, spirituality and those things that you cannot measure apparently are indeed, or seem to be, important for a long, happy, fulfilling life. So that's really, but people always want to measure things, right? And get results. So that might be sort of the conflict that I seem to be observing here.
I totally understand it. And also, I would say myself, I like to track things. I like to have data. That's why it's very important for us how we do the product development. For example, all the ingredients we use, you have hundreds of studies that are really effective products or ingredients, and not something you cannot prove. On the other hand, if you want to do this for the whole ritual or experience, it's not really a ritual or something that is intuitive anymore. So we believe more in the experience that you feel, and then you know it's good for yourself, and we deliver you some information and data about it, but not on a daily basis or on a result basis all the time. You once understand that it's good for you and why, and then you apply it, and then you have the positive experience, and then you stick to it, and you feel that it's good for you. For example, that's it with the 10-minute routine we offer. It's different sequences. So you start with a quick breath work. You have a small stretching part. You have a moment of silence. And I can tell you, if you have a busy morning in your life, and you try this for 1 week, you will feel so much calm in the morning, and you definitely will feel the effect. And maybe you are also a bit more relaxed to your colleagues or to your wife or whatsoever in the morning, right after you've done it. And that is something that is also for me a proof, like the pure feeling that it helps you, and it's backed by information and studies, but you don't need to track it all the time. Yeah.
Amazing. Julian, thank you much for joining. Is there anything else you would like to share about yourself or about REVYND here on this podcast to the audience before closing?
Sure. So, of course, we're always happy to host you here at REVYND. So, if you're in Munich, please feel free to come by and book one of our sessions, or reach out to me or to Robin on LinkedIn or on Instagram. We will definitely get back to you. And not only for a class, we are always happy to have a coffee here in the studio together with people from the longevity space or the health space, or just entrepreneurial or interested people from Munich. So I think it's always better to meet in person when you have the opportunity to get the experience, to build a connection. So I would be happy to welcome you here at the REVYND space.
Amazing. Julian, thank you very much for taking the time. All the best on your journey, and I'll follow along, and I'll make sure to let you know when I'm in Munich. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.